Hello, guys. One and all. Can you hear me okay?
Hi, sir. Yes, we're hearing you quite fine.
Okay. Merry New Year and Happy Christmas. All right. And all the belated greetings. All right. We are here again on another adventure. All right, guys. Hold on. No, this is only like 10% of the class. Um, was my email not so? Did you guys get my email, by the way? Or you just know where
Yes,
to go?
sir. Got the email.
Okay, cool. You got the email. Lovely. All right. Well, we're going to proceed nonetheless. You guys still have a class WhatsApp group, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So you can tell your class members that we are here. All right. And the mission for this year is going to be movement. We're going to keep moving, right? All right. All right. Right. So we're going to keep moving, right, guys? So, firstly, you guys are coming from Advanced Computing 1. I heard you had some adventures over in that module, right? I took a glance on some of the work. I mean, it was okay. I know the big M, Melissa, kind of threw us off a little bit, right? But how was that first assignment? Anybody here? Anybody develop any new skills? Kaylee, any new skills from that first assignment?
Yes, sir. I mean, it made me like more comfortable in Photoshop. So that helped for the final crit.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right. Well, this is your last course with me, all right? So you won't have to see my face again. I am basically waving goodbye to you on your way out from CSA with this course. And I'll tell you guys a secret as well. This course here is actually my favorite course because in this module we get to watch movies, use the VR, and play some video games. And you get graded for it. How does that sound?
Sounds good,
Sounds
sir.
interesting, sir.
I remember one year when I mentioned that, and a student said, "Sir, you're lying. Sir, you're lying. Don't even bother." And I was like, "No, I'm telling the truth." So I was offering to bet him money, but he didn't bet, which is smart because I mean, I'm the one doing the course, so I would know if we're actually going to be watching movies, right? We're also going to be taking photographs, so that is also cool, right? So Advanced Computing 2 is a little different from 1. It is more on the experimentation side of architecture, right? So that is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing a lot of experimenting, right? So Um, based on first thing we're gonna do is talk a little bit about schedule, right? Usually with my courses, I usually have to make some modification to the UTech schedule, right? Um, so that's the first thing we want to get rid of. And we also want to talk about study tour schedule and how that affects the module before we even go into the actual module, right? All you need to know about the module is that, as I said, guys, we're going to be watching movies, we're going to be taking pictures using the VR and playing some video games, and you get your grade for it. Very hard course to fail, right? Because you're having fun, hopefully, right? All right, so everyone should have this time on their on their timetable for lecture, right? Well, this is not everyone, but as I said, the theme for this year is movement, so we're going to keep moving. Anybody that not here when we're moving, they're going to have to jump on the train, all right? So can you confirm with a thumbs up you guys have this slot for your lecture classes, right? Cool. I see one thumbs up. Is that for everybody? All right, cool. So this pretty much sounds like it. All right, so the adjustment that I'm going to suggest you would have seen in the email, right? Instead of having the Wednesday class, so we have 2 sessions on Wednesday. So you might have one in the midday and then one in the night. We're gonna move that to Saturday evening. And that usually works out from the many years that we've been having that session on Saturday. And as I said, this course is not it's not a stressful course because we do a lot of experimentation. We try out new technologies, stuff like that. So you're not necessarily like modeling this thing that I ask you to model or drawing these sheets that you have to do or measuring a building, right? It's a little bit different than the previous computing modules. So it's usually, I think, a bit more relaxing / enjoyable, kind of that pace. So it seems to work great on Saturday, and it's also tied into the scheduling as well, right? To make it work for everyone. So those are the suggestions for the scheduling. Give me a thumbs up if you confirm. Anybody hear that? Everybody's okay with that? Right? So you would not come on Wednesday. You would come online at what time did I say again? 6. Right. You would come online at 6. All right. Most of the practical classes are we're going to be using Twinmotion, right? We're going to be using your phone camera. That's another thing. And I think the highlight that I want to make possible this year around is I want us to go on I call it a virtual field trip, right? I used to do this about 2 years ago. 2 years? When was COVID? 2020, 21. So I did it in 21 and 22. But after that, we haven't been having it because it requires some amount of coordination. But this year, based on my talks with the other lecturers that will help me out, we should be having our VR field trip, which is pretty cool. You might be wondering what the heck is that? You will know as we go along, but it's usually pretty interesting. All right, we'll do that somewhere in the middle of the semester. speaking of the semester, this year you guys are literally going on study tour on Saturday. Is that still confirmed?
Friday. Well,
Friday.
yes, sir. It
Right.
is
So
very much.
right. So I'm literally just saying hi and bye to you guys. So technically we won't be starting the class today because you're going to be off, and then you're going to be coming back. Well, I have it in my thing here, but 2 weeks time. You're going to be coming back in 2 weeks time. So we'll pretty much get started in 2 weeks time with the main course, right? Yeah. So that is pretty much it for talking about schedule. Any questions regarding the schedule before we move on? Any questions? No? No? Yeah, give forward.
Listen, sir. So, right? So,
Hold on. Better you type it, because you're going in and out, in and out.
a little bit better.
Yeah, talk again.
All right, cool. So, I'm not with this year group that's going to Panama.
Right.
So, my group is leaving on the 29th. So, I'll come back a week after them.
Oh, right. You're going to be going with third year.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how that will go,
is
sir.
fine. That is fine. Because
All right, no problem.
yeah. Over the years of knowing what happens in study tour, I know that you don't necessarily come back Monday and then come to class on Tuesday. So I usually have a little buffer after you guys come back from study tour. So it does mean that
All right, no problem.
right. So that should be fine. All right, guys. Okay. So let's dive right into what in the world is advanced computing 2, right? Let's just take a quick overview of what we're going to be doing. We might have to do this again because I don't know if you're going to the 2 weeks of sunshine and work will let you forget about advanced computing when you come back. So we might have to go back over it when you come back. You'll be like, what is this course about again? You know? But nevertheless, I'll run through that now. Right. But before I go through that, I'm going to do my regular routine of let me bring this thing up. Not that one. This one? Yeah, okay, good. Slideshow. There we go. Okay. And I connect to that screen, but okay, fine. All right. Sorry, guys, I got a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff happening on my screen, as you can imagine. All right. There. All right. Everybody seeing the screen okay? Is it blurred for anybody?
We're seeing it okay, sir.
All right, cool. So, computing. We have, I usually do this is a general overview. This is not necessarily for this module. I normally do this at the beginning. So currently you have 3 lectures, right? And you know all of us already, right? You had Mr. Sean last year, and from what I hear from some of you, you had fun last year. So that's great, right? Right, guys? Fun.
Sure, sir.
All right, moving right along. So you guys have been here for a little while, right? If you remember, you started computing in second year where you did DDM and CAD, right? Remember those days, right? SketchUp and all of these things. Then we went to 3D modeling and BIM, right? So you did learn about 3D model and rendering. And for building information modeling, you learn how to really use Revit, right? Last year, you did Advanced Computing 1, where you learn about advanced visualization techniques, right? That was that first assignment. And you also should learn how to do BIM collaboratively. That was the whole point of that major project exercise that you would have done. Though I from talking to some of you and hearing what happened, a lot of you ended up working in a group individually, if you know what I mean, right? But don't worry, the industry is out there and she is the best teacher, because you're going to have to do that when you go out there in the industry, right? So this time around in Advanced Computing 2, you're on the last step. Can you believe it, guys? Woo. How you feel, Miss Ned? You're on the last step outward. Feeling good?
I feel good.
No more Mr. Williams to terrorize you with computing assignments.
Correct.
Okay, so this semester we will not be doing any BIMing. There will be no BIMing this semester. You guys spent 4 years doing BIM. You started in second year, and then last year is when you would have used BIM to do your major project. So this year we're outside of that BIM category. Most of this stuff you already know already. All the modules are 100% online. Well, kind of 100%, because the measured survey obviously is not online. We use the computing website. You have been using that for a number of years, and we collect all coursework through forms, right? So we don't collect work via email or Dropbox or a link or retransfer. We only collect it through the forms, right? You all need a Google account in order to do that. A camera is recommended, but you know that I don't usually require that you guys turn on your camera. What I do require is that if you're not using a camera, is everyone should have a what? Do you remember? Foster? Everyone should have a what? If you're not using a camera, what should you have?
Profile picture.
Profile picture. All right, exactly. So, I because this module is 100% online, I normally and I'm a advocate for some human connection, right? Most of you guys, I know you in this little box, which is why when I saw you guys in person, I was like, okay, I know I've seen your profile picture before, which is why it's important for you to use human profile pictures of yourself and not like a caricature or anything. All right. So yeah. Class attendance is recorded automatically. I don't mark for class attendance, but the university requires that I keep it, so I do keep it automatically. What I'll mark for is class participation, right? You know, I'll know that already. So, which is different from class attendance. So coming to class, yes, you're marked present automatically with Zoom. I can just look it up if you were in the meeting or not. But if you participated, that's when you get the grade. So when I call on your name, like I said, Mia, how you doing, Mia? Mia? Oh, Mia and Janelle sharing the same computer. Is Mia here? She's going to demonstrate what is class participation. Oh, Ryan, you can demonstrate to me what is class participation, right, Ryan?
Yes, sir.
See? Class participation. So you just get a grade a while ago, right? So that is what I marked for, right? I used to use Zoom chat. It is still an option, but I find it tricky sometimes. I just end up using the WhatsApp, guys. So email and WhatsApp, that's how you get in contact with me. You can send me an email. Sometime I might not see it same time, so you can send me a WhatsApp and say, sir, I sent you an email, you know, just in case you miss it, stuff like that. All right. What else? You guys know about the submission portal already. That's where you submit your studio work, but this is also where computing is hosted, right? Right. So you're sending all correspondence to me via email. We're using Zoom. Oh, and please, guys, you're going to register for the class site. You guys know the drill. Even though you registered last year, remember, I collect your names every semester to make sure I have the latest information. When I collect your names, I'm able to add you into my grading sheet, and that's how you see your grades, right? So the class website is where you go to see your grades, which you guys know that already, right? Of course, we have, you should have experienced it, but we have upgraded the class recording section of the website. So you will notice it's a little different. So you'll see a class recordings button when you go on the website, and that will actually take you to a different page than what it used to take you before. I think you would have seen it last semester, but if you had me the semester before, you wouldn't see it. So now we give you the class recording and a bulleted summary of what happened in the class below, along with what you should do coming out of that class. All nicely packaged for you on a web page, right? You are welcome, guys, right? So that is one improvement that we have done in computing. So as you will see that, yes, Gifford, I guess you saw it already from the other modules. So when the class is finished, I'll upload the recording and the summary, and I'm telling you guys, use it. It's pretty good. If, for example, you don't necessarily want to watch the entire 3-hour, 2-hour, 1-hour class, but you just want to know what were the main things that you should do outside of this class, it will be in a text below, right? It will have a bullet point. All students to do A, all students to do B, all students to do C. All right, so use it up, guys, because it's there. All right. For technical assistance, meaning if something is some technical thing, remember, this is for all computing modules. You may not use it this year, maybe because it's not a very technical year, but we use Rust Desk. It's free. You don't have to install it. Just type it in Google. So that is how, like, for example, if something wrong with your computer and you call Mr. Campbell, remember he's the technician guy that I always recommend. That is what he will use to, like, look on your computer to hopefully help you, or what I will use. So that's it. Of course, we use Miro. I'm a fan of Miro, so we are continuing with that as well. And that's pretty much it. Most of you probably have your own computer by now, but you can also use the CSA lab as well. All right. I had this because, especially in COVID days, but my classes are online still. So I always recommend to you the setup that's ideal for class, right? 2 screens, whether that screen is a television, another monitor, or a tablet, is always recommended so that you can work on one and you can see my horrible face on the other, or you can see what I'm sharing on the other screen. Usually it's best to have it bigger than a phone screen because you'll have to squint your eyes. But we're not going to do much software we're not going to do any new software this year. We're going to do a little bit of video editing and that stuff. But most of you have already interfaced with most of the software already. So we won't be doing much tutorials. All right. And, this is just talking about software that you can get. Oh, and everybody should have Mr. Campbell's number by now. Or hopefully you have a relationship with the technician upstairs. Somebody, so that when your computer pop down, you have somebody who you can call. All right? Not the lecturer, right? But somebody who you can preferably call. So, right. All right, guys. And I did say in terms of software. Oh, by the way, so I won't be dictating to you which software to use. I'm going to be using Twinmotion as, because that's my go-to. But you will have freedom to use whatever programs you want. At this stage, you guys are pretty much experts now. So any software, as long as it achieves the purpose, that's what we'll be doing. All right, guys, any question on that? You all know the drill already, but are there any questions on that? No? No questions?
Location. No, sir.
All right, cool. All right. With that said, what time is it? Okay. Right. So I'm not going to be seeing you on Saturday, and I'm not going to be seeing you on Wednesday. So it's going to be goodbye after today until 2 weeks time, literally. Before you go, I want you to at least know what you are getting yourselves into. Screen. I just have to change this option real quick, guys. Yeah. Did I say use presenter view? All right. Okay, everybody can see this screen okay, right? Well, nothing changed from before. So, all right, cool. Advanced computing tool. All right, so the main objective of this module is we're going to be investigating new ways of communicating architecture. That's basically what we're doing, right? And one of the reasons why this module is my favorite module is because I get to tinker around with new gadgets. So what this module was 5 years ago is different from what it was today, because there are things that are out today that wasn't out back then. So the idea is we deal with the cutting edge stuff in this module, right? So we talk a little bit of, we're definitely going to be doing a little talking about AI. We're going to be messing with the VR, and we're going to be doing some other stuff. But in total, there are 4 areas that we concentrate on. So it's technology, film, graphics, and storytelling. right? Um, this exploration goes beyond the current everyday architectural use to more cutting edge theories. So we're not necessarily talking about standards, you know what I mean, in architecture, or things like details, or how is the construction of a foundation footing done? What's the industry standard? This module deals with stuff outside the industry standard that there are no rules for. So we actually look outside of the core of architecture. So if you look at this diagram here, tools used in architecture. This is what we've been doing for the last 3 years, right? So you've been using some tools that are used in architecture, right? Siobhan, give me some tools that you have been using for the last 4 years.
Just specifically in architecture, like outside of it.
For architecture, for what you've been doing in school. Give me some tools that you've been using.
Well, Revit,
Right,
E5.
exactly. All of these specialized tools. You have also been using specialized books, maybe specialized tutorials, things in construction, services. All of these things are within the realm of architecture, and it's core architecture, which is what is represented here. Now, you have a layer outside of the core of architecture, which is tools used in the built environment. So, for example, core architecture would be AutoCAD architecture. But Photoshop is not necessarily architecture, but it's still used heavily in architecture. You know what I mean? So you have those outer tools that you use. We are going to go beyond that, beyond Photoshop, beyond Canva, beyond PowerPoint, and we're going to check out some more interesting nuanced tools. And then we're going to say, hey, how can those tools be used in architecture? That's essentially what we're doing in this module. So non-traditional architectural industries such as film, graphic design, technology, interactive media, things like that, that are not necessarily core architecture. There are things found in movies and video games and graphic design. We're going to be looking at those things and taking and learning from them and applying those in architecture. So that's what we do in advanced computing too. We're going to venture out into the forest, right? So in terms of graphics, we're going to be exploring the world of information graphics. That is a big part of what people use in architecture. I don't know, have you guys ever seen anybody ever went up to masters when they're having their crit and you look at what they pin up? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
All right. Not Siobhan alone though. I know Dominic. You've seen what they pin up upstairs, Dominic?
Yes, sir.
Right. Notice it's not just a bunch of construction drawing. There are charts and diagrams and text and exploded views and renderings and all of these things. So we're going to be looking on information graphics. That is going to be very critical, especially those of you that are going to move on to masters. We're going to learn different ways to express architecture apart from just using floor plan, elevation, section, that kind of stuff. The next thing is still on graphics. So just so you like how you guys learned about things like party diagrams and conceptual diagrams and sketches, we're going to be taking it a bit further, right? So yes, we're going to be using Photoshop and Illustrator and all these graphic tools to do this. So make sure you have those ready. I'm not going to be dictating what to use, and I'm not going to be teaching you what buttons to press. You guys already know that. I'm just going to be telling you some approaches that you can use. The next one is going to be film. So we're going to be looking on moving pictures. Now, most of you already can generate animation in Twinmotion or D5 or whatever, which, by the way, a lot of you don't end up doing, I guess, maybe the same story as when I was in school, that not enough time, probably barely enough time for you to even get your final drawings out for crit. But we are going to be looking on film. So we're going to explore how filmmakers use camera and animation techniques to keep you engaged, right? We're going to be looking on what they do in the movies. Anybody saw the last episode of Stranger Things? Any Stranger Things fans in the house? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right. All of us watch some kind of movie or a TV show or whatever, right? And what's one of the things that keeps you coming back, keeps you binging? It's the story, right? So we're going to look at how we can take that and apply it to architecture to make our work be like the Stranger Things and the Game of Thrones and the Marvel movies, the good ones, not the crappy ones, right? Because those get people excited. And when people get excited, you get the contract and you get the money, right? So we're going to be looking at the techniques that the filmmakers use and we're going to apply that in architecture, right? And we're going to be looking on some examples. Ta-da-ta-da. This is slide 7. Yeah, we're going to be looking on some examples from some architectural works, which is going to be pretty cool, and how they use it for their architectural bids, right? This was from the Houses of Parliament competition. So it's going to be pretty cool when we talk about film, right? As a part of film, we're going to be learning a little bit about photography. It's not a photography course, but you guys have to actually go out there and take pictures. I mean, it's a pity that the study tour is so early this time around, because I find that you guys benefit from learning some of these techniques when you go on study tour. But nevertheless, generally in architecture, when I got my first job out of architecture, I had to drive around and take photos of the buildings from where I worked. That was literally the first thing they asked me to do day one. So learning a little bit about camera, lighting, that kind of stuff. We're gonna venture there a little bit. And storytelling is going to be the big finale of this module, right? It is directly tied. It is going to be tied to your design studio, and we're going to make an awesome movie using your design studio project, right? You guys will have the option for it to be individual or group. As I say, this course you will have complete freedom to do whatever. You just need to give me the work so I can mark it. All right. So we're going to be looking at storytelling and explore storytelling techniques, because this is what gets the client interested in the work. All right. Right. And we're going to be looking on simple things like how do you like you guys go out in the field a lot. We're going to be looking at ways that you can capture footage so that you can use it to help to tell your story, right? We're going to talk about everything from camera movements in the real world, and then we're going to talk about camera movements in the virtual world. So you're going to do something in the real world, and we're going to mimic that in the virtual world. Whichever virtual world you want to use, Twinmotion, V5, whatever, right? Because these things are what help to sell the story, right? And that is what is going to support your final movie. By the way, on the topic of final movie, one of the things that we'll be doing this year is, of course, on the film is we're going to be taking part in the art festival that's going to be happening at the end of the semester. So we'll hear a little bit more about that, but it is a art and film festival. So we're going to be actually showing some work from what we produce in this module, and it's going to be a highlight at that event, right? So there will be an audience for your films. No pressure, guys, no pressure. All right, and the last of this is going to be technology. So as I said, we're going to try to have that that VR field trip, I call it. We won't be physically going anywhere, but we'll be going somewhere virtually, right? And we're going to explore how it can be applied to architecture. We're also going to explore AI. I'm going to be sharing experiences of ways that we can use AI, talk a little bit about it, show you some ways that you can use it to get what you want when it comes to architectural work, right? So we're going to be looking on that. So yeah, that is pretty much our journey. So let's talk about the numbers, right? This is what it comes down to. All right, so on your student portal, you're going to see 4 categories, I think. You should see 4. You should see participation, that's always there. Theory, practical, and final project. As I said, it can be group or individual. So for the theory, it's going to be split across 2 exercises where we're going to do some artwork. For the practical, we're going to be looking on cinematography in architecture. This is where we're going to use your camera, meaning your phone camera. We're going to be using whatever 3D software, right? And your final project, we're going to make a movie, right? So we're going to come up with a storyboard, and we're going to have a screening, meaning we're going to, like premiere night, when you when a movie is premiering, we are going to be doing that, right? Can you guys see the screen okay? As I clicked an option here. I don't know
Yes,
if
sir.
I it off. All right, good. Right. So this is gonna be our journey. All right, guys. Yeah. So we're gonna be identifying contemporary notions of digital technology. That's as I said, guys, that's the mission. Oops. What did I do? Right. And we're gonna present architecture in new ways. Apart from this floor plan elevation section, we're going to be looking at how we can present architecture using ways that people in other industry uses, namely film, right? And we're going to actually use tools that they use in other industries. Hence, this is how the video games come in, because I don't know if you guys know that Lumion was built off of a game engine, right? So we're also going to take a look at the video game industry, because they have been doing real-time stuff way before Lumion, right? And they have some interesting technology that every year more and more is coming into the architectural industry. The first step was Lumion, but nowadays we've come so far to where at the end of the day, instead of rendering movies, you're producing games. Right, mic check. Right. So, Kimali, what do you think? Are you excited or worried?
I'm excited. This seems fun.
I told you. You guys can hold me to it, right? It should be fun, right? And as usual, at the end, we usually do a survey. And as I said, these surveys are what help us to know what to keep or what to drop, right? So every year, the module changes a little bit every year for the better, And it's usually my objective is to trend it towards easier. Because as we all know, architecture, no matter where you go in the world, it's always hard, right? All right, guys. So that is our intro to the module. We usually have a
You can go over
question.
assignments them, please, sir.
Yeah, man, no problem. Let's
Please.
look back on the as a matter of fact, I will just bring up the website because I also placed it on the website. Computing, AC2. Right, here we go. Right, so, I mean, I don't need to explain the website. You guys know about it already. The timeline is up here. The entire module has already been planned and scheduled, right? As usual, my aim is to get everything done in like week 10 or week 11, right? Before you all go disappearing on me. So if you don't remember or you want to look, oh, when are we getting something again? You know, you just come to one of these and click. Here it is, February. And if you want to look at what we'll be doing February 14th, it's going to be digital note taking, right? You guys should be on study tour between Saturday and the 6th. So our first class is going to be on Monday the 9th, and we're going to look on working digitally. So, you know, you can actually go through and see when everything is, so you can properly schedule yourself to make sure that that you're getting everything done. All right. Going back to the question with Gifford, right? So if you scroll on a little bit more, you see the module breakdown. You can see the major project is going to be 40%, 20%, sorry, 10% out of that is the storyboard, right? That part isn't shown here. So the major project is 40%, the theory is 20%, and the practical is 30%, and then you have class participation. And if you want to see the breakdown of that, you can see that the theory is divided into 2 infographics work that we're going to be doing, so 10 each. The practical is broken down into the physical camera. This is when we're going to go outside, take some photos, and the virtual camera, this is where we're going to be in a 3D program doing stuff, right? So if you ever need to remember what you'll be doing, it's going to be here. Let me go back up the top a little bit. Well, you all know this already. You can check the class recordings, as I said, and your grades, and yeah, you all know this stuff already. Scroll down a little bit. Where am I? Right, if you take a look on the timeline overview, right, so you can see this time around the study tour is at the beginning of the module, so pretty much we're not doing any work until you come back. We're going to start between week 2 and week 5, we're going to be doing assignment 1 and 2, and between 5 and week 10 we're going to be looking at assignment 3 and 4, and then the major project is going to be at the tail end. The major project isn't anything that I need to teach you how to do. So pretty much after week 10, you're going to be on your own, just working on it, right? Yeah. So any questions so far on all of this, guys? The schedule, what you've been doing, what you will be doing? Everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, Kimberly, answer for everybody. Oh, this I'm trying another thing here with this class participation thing. As you know, I mark class participation based on activities that will just randomly happen throughout the semester, right? And this tracker just tells me and you how many persons participated in that assignment, right? So as usual, if there are 5 activities, and you did all 5, then you get 100% of the marks, which is 10%. If you only did half of that, then you only get half the marks, right? The number of activities vary from year to year. It could be 2 or it could be 10, right? It's very random, and I love it that way, because the only way you can get that mark is if you participate, right? Yeah, so everything else is pretty straightforward. The syllabus outline is there. Most of the assignments are not released yet, because sometimes I will modify it depending on if there is a storm that will happen in the middle of the, the semester, right? So we'll unveil them as we go through. So when you scroll on, you'll notice that the assignments are all there, and yeah, everything is digital and everything is submitted online. Okay, I think that is everything in terms of introduction, right, guys? So, oh, I forgot, I didn't have my chat open. Has anybody been messaging me? Right, yes, remember about profile pic, guys. I don't want to see any letters in my Zoom. All right, I'm not physically there, so I want to feel like I know you. Right. Oh, Mia, I didn't realize that you had answered me. My bad. I wasn't checking the message. So I'll give you your participation grade.
Sir?
Yeah, that's right.
I just came in late. I heard you going through the overview of the model. I was just doing some stuff regarding registration, but did I miss anything important?
Well, the main thing that you probably missed is that the new feature to the class recordings. The class recordings has now been redesigned, and anything that you miss, the video will be there along with a summary and a bullet point of the major things discussed. So anything you missed today will be under the class recording section. Right now it is going to be empty because I have, this is the first class, but it will pop up there, the video and bullet points to what we discuss.
Okay, right, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Did I enable that for this? Okay, any other questions? Nope.
When are we going to get the assignments briefed, sir?
Like the first one is gonna be when you guys pretty much okay, a good thing that you can use to determine that. Hold on a second. Right. A good thing that you can use to know when you'll be getting it is when you go on the website, notice that the assignments, they have a beginning and an end, right? So the beginning for the theory assignment is going to be February 16th. So in that class, so when we have this lecture, this is when you will get the handout, and this is when it is due. You understand? And as I say, I do it like that because we may modify it actually during the semester. So, there might be a semester when we say do 3 things, but you say, you know what? I'm gonna make you do two things this time around. You know what I mean? And I will just edit that on the handout.
All right, no problem, sir.
All right, cool. All right. What else? So hopefully everyone have them computer up and running. Just to give you the heads up, in terms of software, our first assignment is going to revolve around graphic design. So whether you're using the Adobe suites or you're using the stuff on the tablet, just make sure that you have everything installed and set up. And as usual, you know, talk to Mr. Campbell and he will get you all set up. All right. I think that's going to be it for our first class. I will see you again in 2 weeks' time. Right? If you need to find out anything, please use the website. It's all there. Timeline is there. The whole module is planned out. You can know when everything is keeping. And you can always use a class recording. All right? So, guys, we're going to have some fun. And I will see you on the 9th of February. That's going to be our next class. Okay, guys?
Okay, sir.
All right. Okay. All right. So take care, guys, and enjoy your study tour. All right.
Thank you, sir. Have a good evening.
All right. Cool, cool.
Sir,
Yeah?
I might not be able to get the module for the start. So would you be able to hold a brief?
Yes. I always record everything, so sure.
You know,
All right. Cool, cool. Ms. Foster, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Sorry,
Oh,
I'm asking so late.
I was just about to click the end button.
So sorry.
What's up?
But yes,
Come on.
sir. I've done this module before,
Mhm.
and a while ago. I'm now doing it again, and I have some grades from the time I did it before. But I don't know if you still have them. But I see them on the progress, the coursework result, that thing on the portal. I see it on it still. Could
Okay.
I bring over some of those grades, or do I have to redo everything?
Generally, I will do it. Not every lecture will do it, but generally I will do it. But if the assignment change, then you have to do it again. So
I wouldn't. I think the one I'm seeing
what
is the group.
year?
It, I can't even remember clearly. I think it was 2022, 2023. So, what I'm seeing is the group project, and what my concern is, I don't know many persons in this new year group, so I was wondering if I could keep that group assignment. 'Cause, I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe.
because we did change the final project,
Oh,
but that year may have been the year that we changed it. What did you do for the final project? Remember?
the same. Okay,
It
it's been a
was
while, but the same movie aspect.
Yeah,
Wherever
yeah,
I
yeah. It's always a movie.
yeah,
But
but I don't know how different it is now.
right. So did you do like something on half a tree or a church? Did you do something on a piece of architecture, or was it based on the design studio?
I think it was a design studio. Yeah,
Okay.
it was
Well,
design.
if it is that one, then that's the new one that we are doing.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
that first hurdle is there. But sometimes, depending on what happened in studio, because sometimes some craziness happened in studio and we have to change up the assignment for that year. So so hopefully it don't change too much where it's like a new assignment.
Okay.
So I'm willing to do it if everything holds true to what you did in your time.
Okay.
Alright?
Thank you,
Right.
sir.
Or you might want to try get a better grade. I don't remember what grade you got, but so
I could attempt it again, but it maybe at the end if one is better than the other, could I like use the better one? No.
I have to think about that one. Because from in all fairness, if you're going to use the old one, I would just insert it in my grading thing from no.
Oh.
But if you're going to
Okay.
use the new one, then you're just going to use the new. Well, you would have to use the new one because you're working with a group.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can work on your own as well because the option is there.
Really?
Yeah, but most people choose to work in a group because it's shorter, or like in your case, some people who may not know everybody and you're on a different schedule, you might just do it by yourself. So the option is there. So we'll see where it goes. But the short answer is yeah, I'm willing to do that if everything is in alignment.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, no problem. All right, take care. Johnson, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Top of the morning. How you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Our top of
Yes,
the
sir. Yeah, top of the evening, sir. Just easier to say it that way. I was checking out with my situation, so as far as the adjusting the 3DM grades, I texted you about.
Right, 3DM. I did send off some change. 3DM. All right, hold on. Let me see. Let me stop this.
Yeah, because you probably just seen the message again.